Hey everybody, what's up? So I'm sitting here waiting to pick my son up from drums, and I thought I would give you my review on some shit. All right, so today I'm going to talk to you about the Hightower Santa Cruz and the Yeti SB5.5. What I like, what I dislike about each of them. All right, well, basically, I'm going to sum this review up real quick so you can change the channel if you want to after I say what I've got to say here. Basically, the Yeti high-end version of the Hightower. Boom. There you go. Done. Shut the review off. You can go do your thing. If you need more information than that, here it is. All right. Hightower, wonderful bike. It actually, in my opinion, has slightly better geometry than the Yeti, just slightly. I mean, it's approximately 10 millimeters longer, and I like that extra 10 millimeters. I do like the stack height slightly better on the Yeti because it's a little bit taller, and I like the way that feels. I'm fairly large, however, at just shy of 6'2", 190 pounds with a 35-inch inseam. Now, here's a couple things. Santa Cruz carbon fiber, as we all know, is probably the best carbon fiber on the market. And I really enjoy that about it. And you can tell. I mean, you really can tell. I love how on the Hightower, the frame is internally routed. Not just the cables go through the frame. I mean, it literally has tubes inside of it that you run the cables through. It's a nice, quiet system. The Yeti, I'm sure to save weight, left it open. Problem with leaving it open is you can hear the cables rattle around while you're riding. Even turning the handlebars makes a little tick noise. I mean, does it really matter? Probably not to most people, but also if you're going to spend $5,500 on a bike, it should be exactly like you want it. And I think that should be addressed. I would rather gain the 3 ounces or whatever and have the frame internally guided. So Hightower, I love how stiff the frame is. I love the durability of the frame. I've pushed that bike super hard. It's always been basically my favorite bike I've ever ridden. So for 2018, I've got in the new Hightower. I've also got in the new Yeti. Here's what I can tell you. The Yeti suspension is superior to the Hightower suspension, period. The Switch Infinity system works better than the VPP. With that said, it's approximately $1,000, well, just shy of $1,000 more expensive bike. So it should work better. Okay, so we're not really comparing apples to apples. We're looking at a bike that you can get all the way down to $3,600 or $3,700, and a bike that doesn't start till $4,800 for the Yeti. The Yeti rides better than the Hightower, but it costs more. They're both completely capable bikes. I've launched them, I have beat them, and I'm loving both of them. If I had to only have one, price no object, I'm going to go for the Yeti. I feel like the Yeti actually gives you slightly better component spec than you get with the equivalent Hightower, dollar to dollar. And plus, I personally feel like on the Santa Cruz, once you hit that $4,500 mark, that's kind of where you need to stay with the Santa Cruz. Whereas with the Yeti, you know, if you've got more money to spend because you're looking for something a little bit more elite, I think that upgrading to the Yeti is a better option because it just rides better. The traction is unreal on both bikes, but when I rode the Hightower, I own that. I was like, man, this thing's got unlimited climbing traction. I don't ever slip. I probably did a little bit because now that I'm on the Yeti, the thing never slips, man. I mean, it stays planted. I've got friends of mine that are way better riders than me, that are way faster climbers than me, but they both are coming off their bikes in sections, and I slowly make it through. I'm not that great. I'm not. They're way better, no doubt, but they're on single pivot bikes, and they just don't have the traction that I've got on the Switch Infinity system. They don't have the traction I have on the VPP either. that the Santa Cruz has. So my point is I think the dual linkage setup is the way to go, period. I think that if you bought the Hightower, it's one hell of a bike. I love the simplicity of the bike. I can break the rear triangle down and have it off the bike in probably 4 minutes, 5 minutes at the most. Whereas with the Switch Infinity system, you're like, oh, what am I going to do with this thing? I even got a letter from them not a letter, but he sent me an email. He's like, please don't disassemble the Switch Infinity system. As far as service goes, it's not a big difference. You've got the VPP linkage that you have to grease occasionally. On the Yeti, you've got the Switch Infinity system you have to grease every 40 hours. So to me, it's a wash. I love that Switch Infinity system, and I love the VPP system. Neither one's the wrong choice. My thing is, I just feel like if you're looking at supercars and you've got the ability to buy a Porsche 911 or the McLaren, they're both great cars, but most people would argue that the P1 McLaren, with its $1.5 million price tag, is a better car than the 911, even though the 911's amazing. Well, it's the same way on this. The Hightower is absolutely incredible, and anybody that owns one is awesome. I love the bike, and if I only had to have one bike, man, that's a great one to have. But if I got an extra grand burning a hole in my pocket, I'm going to buy the Yeti. So anyway, that's kind of my opinion. The part spec, of course, on both bikes, you can kind of get it built however you want. I highly recommend it. With the, well, man, I don't know exactly how I was going to say I highly recommend. Here's what I'm going to say. I highly recommend it with SRAM componentry. There you go. Either one. They both are available in, I believe, Shimano or SRAM builds. The Shimano builds, to me, don't shift as well as the SRAM builds. I'm going to kind of combine the Fox 36 review here compared to the Pike. So I've got the Hightower with the Pike, the Yeti with the 36, and then, of course, the new Hightower has got the 36 as well. Pleasantly surprised. It feels heavier. I don't know for a fact that it is or not. I don't really care about the numbers that much, but I feel like I got slightly more weight in the front end, but I also am running a 2.5 tire now, so I'm sure there's probably 200 grams there that I'm feeling. But anyway, bike ride's awesome. It's snappy as hell. It'll climb great. You're not going to say that it's fast climber, but it will climb. And it has no perceived pedal bob whatsoever on the Yeti. Slight pedal bob on the Hightower. Totally different than a single pivot that has gobs of pedal bob for the most part. Small bump compliance on both bikes is great. The Yeti is going to be slightly smoother. Big bump compliance on both bikes, I would say, is excellent. That small bump stuff, though, that's what wears you out. It's feeling those damn roots, like just constant, will wear you down. And I feel like the Yeti's got the edge there. I bottom both bikes out approximately the same off of bigger jumps, and I feel slightly more stable on the Yeti, but I also feel like it's slightly harder to turn. There you go. Anyway, highly recommend both bikes. Definitely not a bad choice. If you're going for frame quality, like actual build quality, I would give the nod to Santa Cruz. If you're going to design quality or going for design quality, I would recommend the Yeti. I've got the 4.5 coming in hopefully by the end of the month, and it'll be interesting to compare the 4.5 with the Tall Boy, because I really like the Tall Boy also. So anyway, that's my opinion on the Hightower and the Yeti SB 4.5. Hope that helps you guys. Talk to you soon.